September. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you could probably tell from the title, is going to be a review slash demo of the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Eyeshadow Palette. This video might be a little surprising to some of you because, as you may or may not know, I have been on a Too Faced strike for, I want to say, like about a year. I just noticed that a lot of their palettes were inconsistent. Some of their marketing didn't really appeal to me. I just felt like it was too hit or miss. The only product I've ever had from Too Faced that I really, truly, honestly loved was the Born This Way foundation. And everything else was super inconsistent. I never knew what I was gonna get. And so I decided to just, for my own peace of mind, stop buying from the brand. I held firm, like nothing they launched really spoke to me or called to me until this guy. And I saw this palette at first on Instagram, and then I was perusing through Ulta and I saw it again and I kind of touched it and I was like, you know what? I really want this palette. So I picked it up, and today we're just gonna do like a little first impressions review on it. I hope I love it. I hope it was worth breaking my strike for. But that remains to be seen. I still am a little skeptical because of how hit or miss things have been in the past. Anyways, I'm rambling, always rambling. Let's get into it. Reading straight from the box, it says, take decadence to the next level with a luxurious gold and cocoa powder infused eyeshadow palette that smells as good as it looks. Have a major metallic moment with foiled eyeshadows that are created with real gold for an epic high shine finish that's paired with rich, seductive mattes for coffee to cocktails wear. All shadows feature a soft, velvety texture with full coverage payoff. The entire palette is infused with skin-loving cocoa powder for a decadent chocolate scent. So I wanted to buy this as much for the packaging as I wanted it for the colors inside. So the outside is just a little plastic sleeve. It has a metallic gold dripping into the chocolate bar. On the back, there is a list of all of the shadows and their names, as well as the ingredients and all of that good stuff. The palette itself has a really metallic gold kind of drip happening onto the traditional chocolate bar look of the palette. This is plastic as opposed to the other chocolate bar palettes, and I think the peach palette as well, that is a tin packaging, but it still feels really durable and heavy, so I'm not too upset about the switch. I did, while I was on my Too Faced kind of strike, declutter my chocolate bar and semi-sweet chocolate bar palette. I think the only one I kept is the peach palette. And not necessarily because I love it, but just because it was so hard to get and I wanted it for so long that it was more of an emotional attachment than a practical, I'm going to use this a lot attachment. And here is the inside of the palette. There are 16 eyeshadows in here. 14 of them are 0.8 grams each, and then 2 of them are larger at 1.8 grams, which brings the total amount of eyeshadow to 3.6 grams. The cost of this palette is $49, and if all of the eyeshadows were the same size, it would be roughly $3 per eyeshadow. It looks like there are 4 mattes in the palette. Rolling in the Dough here, which could be a really good inner corner highlight or brow bone highlight. And then there's So Bougie, Decadent, and Cocoa Truffle. Practically, you could create a lot of looks with this palette because you do have, the black to kind of deepen things. You have a dark brown to intensify. You have a transition color and then a brow bone highlight. The rest of the colors in here are metallic, and I think there's a good mix of like wearable and festive statement colors as well, as far as the metallics are concerned. I know Urban Decay kind of released something similar recently with their Heavy Metals palette, and I was more drawn to this one over that one because honestly the layout of the Heavy Metals palette just seems so all over the place. I think having that big space for the mirror in the center of the palette is really off-putting. I just didn't want that. Moving into the swatch portion, this might be a little awkward because naturally I want to hold out my left arm and swatch with my right hand, but I was crafting. There was an incident with a hot glue gun. I have a really ugly burn on my arm. It's also kind of in prime swatching territory, so I don't want to distract from the colors of the shadows, force you guys to stare at a really ugly burn, or get makeup on a healing wound. So excuse me if this is a little bit awkward, but I'm gonna try and swatch on my right arm with my left hand. So starting with the top row, we have Moneybags, Chocolate Gold, which is one of the larger eyeshadow pans, Rich Girl, Cocoa Truffle, and Decadent. On the second row, we have Love and Cocoa, Old Money, New Money, Famous, and So Bougie. And for the final row, we have Holla for a Dollar, Gold Dipped, Livin' Lavish, Drippin' Diamonds, and Rollin' in the Dough. I'm kind of torn on what to do here because I feel like there's a lot of color combinations that would look really pretty together. I think Moneybags and Gold Dipped would look really, really pretty together. Drippin' Diamonds down here could make the perfect lid color for like a classic holiday glam kind of thing. Holla for a Dollar, I hate saying that, and Old Money I think would go really well together. And then of course any of them would be absolutely gorgeous as just a lid color with some of the mattes kind of blended into the outer V and into the crease. What to do, what to do. All right, I got it. All right, so I really want to do like a classic holiday glam look because it's that time of year, but that's kind of boring and I'd only be using one of the glitter colors from the palette. And I want to use a couple to get a pretty good idea of how it's going to perform. So I've already primed and set my eyes. I'm going to take my MAC 242 or any big fluffy blending brush that you have will do. And I'm going to go into So Bougie. This is a little lighter on my eyes than I would expect, but for a transition color, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Next, I'm going to take my Sigma E25 and dip into Cocoa Truffle. And keep that just a little bit lower into the crease. I feel like both of these colors are a lot darker in the pan than they are on my actual eyes. Going back with the same 242 with no product on it and just kind of softening this up a little bit. Very light pressure. On a very, very small blending brush, I'm going to take a little bit of Gold Dipped and spritz it with some primer water. And I'm going to put this on the inner third of the eye. Ooh, these shadows are very powdery. I feel like this color is really pretty, but again, it almost looked darker in the pan. I wasn't expecting it to be this light. I'm going to take another packing brush. This one is from BH Cosmetics, and I'm going to go into Old Money. And again, just because these are kind of more metallic shades, I want them to really pop. I'm going to give a little spritz of the primer water. Where Old Money meets Gold Dipped, I'm just going to gently pat it so that the two will blend together a little bit easier. I'm only putting this on the center of the lid because I'm going to throw in another color a little bit later on. Going back to a trick that has saved my life countless times, I'm going to grab that same teensy tiny little brush, get a little bit of Gold Dipped on one side, a little bit of Old Money on the opposite side, and just hit the line using both sides of the brush until we get a pretty seamless and even blend. Using the same BH Cosmetics brush, I'm going to use the opposite side, the clean side, and dip into Holla for a Dollar and put that in the outer third of the eye. Oh, I didn't spritz this one, that's why it doesn't look as good. Oh, I just dipped into the wrong color. Alright, well I just dipped into the wrong color. New brush, that's too big. And same thing here, I'm going to take one side of the brush with Holla for a Dollar, the other side I'm going to dip into Old Money and hit the line where the two meet. I'm going to take a Sigma E36, it's this tiny, tiny little fluffy brush, and I'm going to actually dip into Chocolate Truffle and re-intensify the crease just a bit. There we go. I wanted Holla for a Dollar to pop just a little bit more, so I took a little bit on my pinky and I'm just patting that in. Going to grab a tiny little pencil brush and use Rich Girl as an inner corner highlight. Give her a little spritz. I feel like Gold Dipped lost his way a little bit there. We're gonna re-intensify that. I'm going to put on some mascara, pop on some lashes, and be right back to do the lower lash line. So I have one lash on, excuse me if I look crazy, but I had to get on here and show you guys how used and abused my Flutter lashes in the style Intoxicating are. So this is a brand new lash that I've never worn. It's in the style Captivating by Flutter Lash, so it has that really good, like, slightly rounded shape to it. This is my Intoxicating lash. It's like been permanently warped to my eye shape. So this is the Flutter Lash, and this is a brand new lash. I gotta get new lashes. Okay, so I'm back. Lashes are on. I considered doing a winged eyeliner, and then I realized I have 4 different shimmer shades on my eyes right now. I don't really need to amp it up any more than that. I don't have a whole lot of options for the lower lash line since there's only 4 matte colors in this palette. So I'm gonna go in with So Bougie. That was the most attractive face I've ever made. And with a little flat brush, I'm going to take Cocoa Truffle and push that really close to the lower lash line and smoke it out just a bit. Little, I was opening this up and I just dug my nail right into rolling in the dough. Oh God, don't think I've ever done, oh, it feels gross. It's all under my nail now. Damn it. Can't wait to watch this footage back and see my face when I did it. And now for lipstick. Would this even be a tutorial in the month of December without a red lipstick? No, it wouldn't. So I'm gonna go in with the I Love Sarah E and ColourPop Ariba lipstick. Right, so final thoughts on the palette. I really begrudgingly say this because I was anti-Too Faced for a long time, but I think this palette was really great. I didn't get a lot of fallout, and considering that I used 4 different colors of shimmer to get this eye look, it really is impressive that I don't have just a glitter bomb that went off on my cheeks. I think if you're looking for a way to spice up your makeup routine by adding a different color shimmer to the lid than what you normally do, this is a really good palette to have. There's something about this that is a lot more appealing to me than the Too Faced Glitter Bomb palette or the Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette. I think this is a lot more wearable, a lot more approachable, has a layout that makes a lot more sense, and it has really cute packaging, which, as much as it shouldn't be, is really important to a lot of people, myself included. There's a lot of colors in here that I think would work really well together if you're doing more of a glam look. Overall, I think it was really great. That's enough for this video. I'm rambling again. Make sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave. I put out a new video every Monday. You can also follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Everything is September Moments. I'll put it right here on the screen for you. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.